Do you know what? I was about to start my video and then a milk float drove past me. A Kia Soul milk float. For those of you that haven't seen the video, go back and find it and you'll find out that just by adjusting the air conditioning while sitting in a car park, you can reduce the range accordingly. I can't believe it's on my manor, to be honest. I'm going to have to go and clean the streets once I've done this. Anyway, do you remember when Britain used to have journalists that found out things, exposed them, and got rid of them? You remember those days? Like Michael Barrymore, Jeffrey Archer, Tony Blair and his weapons of mass destruction that never existed. And as a result, he had to kill some scientists and some allegedly, and some other stuff. And we had journalists that went out there and exposed these stories, you know, at personal risk, as I've just proved. And they actually did stuff. And then for the last few years, that simply hasn't happened. They've gone after Boris Johnson continuously, but that got boring. Whereas, you know, old Starmer is just like Teflon Tone. He's pretty much untouchable. That's not me. That was Tony Blair. It was Teflon Tone. I'm very much stick, not non-stick. Stuff tends to stick to me like shit to a blanket. Now, the reason for this is that I would like to make a proclamation that we, and granted, I noticed from my comments yesterday, I have a lot of overseas fans. Hello to the foreigners. There's no xenophobia going on here. I'm Cornish. I hate everyone. That's just the way it is. Particularly Devon. Keep watching though, Devon. Don't turn off because I've said I hate Devon. It's just your pasties. Well, and the way you say bay. And your borders. Yeah. Anyway. We, Britain, United Kingdom and Northern Ireland, whatever, you know, whatever terminology you want to use, we are now officially a communist state. It's official. You heard it first. 1st of August, 2025. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon as I'm saying this because it's in between horse races. And I've just watched the 1:55. That's how I know what time it is. That's second. Again, that's second twice today. Anyway, we are now officially a communist state. It's been brewing for a while. Those of us that have been predicting these things have said that this is coming and we are heading full on into communism. And now I can confirm it. Not only that, I can prove it. So I will. Because we all know that the press are being suppressed and the media are being controlled and social media is being manipulated. We all know that. What we have lacked in the past is the confirmation of such. Now, as I've said, normally you get a journalist to do this, but the journalists can't because they got their hands tied behind their back and gaffer tape over their mouths, much like me the other day. Because they can't expose these stories because these stories are about them not being able to expose these stories because they're being controlled by the government in the first place. So therefore, it would be a self-fulfilling prophecy if they were to expose these stories that they're not allowed to expose because they're being told by the government not to expose them. Try and keep up. So, for some reason, and I haven't worked out why, but for some reason, glasses are on my head. I've got some reading to do. Actually, my eyes are getting better, you know. I can read that now. That's good, isn't it? Right, glasses down. American Republican Senator Jim Jordan has taken it upon himself to be a news of the world type investigative journalist. And he's done a deep dive into the freedom of speech in the UK and how shit it is. Granted, he's probably had a little bung from Don to get on with it, but nevertheless, that's allegedly. No bungs have taken place. He may have had a nudge. I don't think I need to say allegedly about a nudge. So if any of my American viewers are watching and know anything more about Republican Jim Jordan, feel free to join in. Anyway, what he's discovered is, and this will come as a shock to you, last year during the Southport riots, the government wrote to all the emailed all the social media companies TikTok, X, Twitter, call it what you like, Facebook, etc., and asked them very politely, in a not menacing way at all, to stop, or not stop, control and reduce the amount of anti-immigration content on their platforms, because they said it was fueling hate. They singled out particularly anything against Muslims and Jews. Now, I'd like to point out at this point, I am very much an atheist these days. Went chapel, Sunday school, from primary school, and then for 2 years, I was a Church of England altar boy. No, I wasn't interfered with in any way, shape or form whatsoever. That's not the reason I'm an atheist. Just like to put that out there, get that put to bed now. I gave up because I joined a brass band. Yeah, again, this is a story for another day. My point being, why only the Muslims and the Jews? Why are you allowed to criticise any other religion apart from those two? Not that Jews are a religion. Judaism is a religion. But we ain't going down that route either. But why did they pick out those two and nobody else? It's like, oh, the anti-immigration stuff, don't point it at the Christians. They never said that. Or the Catholics, or the Sikhs, or the Hindus, or the Buddhists, or any other religion you want to name. Jedis, they're also a religion. They just picked out those two. And they said, we want to suppress that type of content, and you need to suppress it for us because it's causing problems on the street. No, mate. It's the people in the boats that keep raping the children that are causing the problems on the street. You ain't worked that bit out yet, have you? Oh, sorry, you have worked it out, but we can't talk about it. Don't know what I'm fucking whispering, like it's going to make a difference. At the end of the day, that's what people are pissed off about. Oh, that, and you get everything for free and you get to live in a 4-star hotel. That's the other thing people are pissed off about. Oh, and people are going to jail for putting a tweet, but illegally entering a country, breaking the law, puts you into a hotel and gives you a free iPhone and a Deliveroo bike, which you can then go out and earn money with, even though you're getting pocket money from the state, which you can use to bet on Sky with. But that's not the reason. That's not the reason people are pissed off. People are pissed off because they're thick and ignorant and right-wing, and they just don't understand the messaging. So the easiest way to do it is to suppress the messaging. Jim Jordan has got it all. What I should have said was, look up there. No, hang on, up there. There's his Twitter feed. There's all the details on it, and that's the first page of his thread of everything. It's all there for you to read. Go and help yourself. Have a read of it. Because he then goes on, about a month later, to point out that they even tried to suppress the use of the word two-tier. Whether it be two-tier care, two-tier justice, two-tier law, two-tier whatever you want, they wanted that suppressed. They didn't want that being used in modern parlance because it wasn't helpful. I'll tell you what's not being helpful. Banging people up for a tweet and then letting sex offenders walk along the road. That's what's not being fucking helpful, you commie twats. Anyway, it turns out that now, and Jim goes at great lengths to point this out, my new mate, Jim, if you're watching, top work, mate. Feel free, pop over for a pint anytime you like. I'm available. Probably not weekends, probably better midweek. Yeah, if I got darts Fridays, obviously I can't go out for a pint with a Republican senator because you don't want to come Tregonizzi Club with me tonight, I doubt. Anyway, now the new Digital Security Act has basically said everything that they did last year, they've now put that into law. So last year, it was all done underhand. This year, they can just do it because they've made a law out of it, which is brilliant. It's not. And we now have a brand new police department. And it has a very catchy acronym. It's the National Internet Intelligence Investigations Team, or NIT for short. I mean, surely I've got to be able to come up with that one. Yes. The Communist United National Team. That's better. Work out your own acronym. And they, weirdly, this police department sprung up overnight. like a flower out of the ground, not at all planned, waiting for the Digitsl Security Act to come in. No, no, no. This just came up out the ground. And within 24 hours of it existing, it exists solely at the moment to police anti-immigration content on the internet. That's what it's for. It is literally, we are now living in the equivalent of East Germany, and they are the Stasi. This is the equivalent. They are thought police. They are out there scouring the internet looking for anyone that may say anything that does not go with the government narrative. And that's their department. That's their sole purpose in life. That's what these policemen exist for. Not to prevent crime, prevent people thinking about things, and to prevent people saying things that don't go with what people might be wanting you to think. That is pure communism. The only difference between us and East Germany is that they had a fucking great wall and razor wire all around the borders, and we've got open borders and anyone can just come in and go as they want. Checkpoint Charlie is basically, instead of razor wire and Alsatians and machine gun posts, it's a beach in Dover with some NGO department. And give me a life jacket. There's an iPhone. There's the keys to the Hilton. Fuck off. Hey, we're even shit at communism. Now, if it's not bad enough, we're now a communist country, as I've proven, factually, without a big wall. Which, thing is, right, when East Germany, and they freed themselves, they knocked the wall down. What are we going to do to free ourselves? We haven't got a fucking wall. We can't knock down what doesn't exist. We can't go to Dover and just go, oh, let's push the sea back a bit. This is just bollocks. I mean, we're so shit at communism already. We've only been communists 5 minutes. We're already shit at it. The point being, now we're communists, and now we've got the Stasi, and we haven't got the wall, and we've got the poverty, we've got the corrupt governments, we've got the corrupt government departments, we've got the secret police, we've got all of that, we've got everything going on. Granted, we haven't quite worked out communists need borders, but you know, we'll get to that. We fucking won't. What we need, which communists had, is a Trabant. The Trabant, for those of my younger viewers, and let's face it, we've covered the age demographic in the last couple of days. There ain't many younger viewers. Everyone seems to be older than me. So if I can remember a Trabant, you lot can. Now, the Trabant was the car of the communists because it was made in communism. It was made by communists for communists, and it was shit. So what we need, if we're going to be a proper communist country, is a communist car made by communists for communists that's shit. Look no further, ladies and gentlemen. I give you the Leap Motor 03 or CO3. Oh, yes. This is your 2025 Trabant, everyone. Say welcome to it. There it is. That is the final. It's the crowning turd in the water pipe of communism. That's what it is. That is the Leap Motor CO3. It's 14,495 on the road. So it's the cheapest milk float on the road. Obviously, it's a milk float. It's built by communists for communists to be driven by communists in a communist country. So it has to be a milk float because it has to be shit. However, it gets worse than that because milk floaters will do, I have 400 brake horsepower and can outsprint a Ferrari off the traffic lights. Got bored fucking saying it. Anyway, not in a Leap Motor CO3 you want, because it has a hull, and bearing in mind, most of these milk floats have 300, 400 horsepower. This one don't. It's got 95 horsepower. Less than the Renault Clio Mark 1 driven by Nicole. Nicole. That one. That had 100 horsepower. I always remember that advert. 95 horsepower. I've had more powerful shits. 0 to 60, bearing in mind the Kia whatever it is, EV3, I don't know. I keep getting this fucking advert come up on my feed and it does me head in. But apparently it's faster than Ferrari, 0 to 63 point something seconds, blah, blah, blah. Not the Trabant Leap motor. No. Trabant Leap motor. We need to combine the Leap Bant or the Trab motor. No, Leap Bant. Let's go Leap Bant. The Leap Bant does 0 to 60 in 12.7 seconds. Literally, by the time it gets to 60 mile an hour, I got married and divorced my first wife. That's how slow it is. What's going on here? Nissan Micra, don't matter. And naturally, being the Leap Bant and being underpowered and being slow as assholes, it's also got a shit range of just 160 miles. But it won't matter because we live in communism. So A, you can't go very far anyway without being shot or bitten by an Alsatian. And if you do, you'll be asked for your papers. And therefore, you won't be able to go very far because once communism kicks in fully and the electric stops being produced, because it can only go to the palaces and that lot, they'll have electric, we won't. And everyone's got an electric car will then realise the folly of their ways by becoming a communist in the first place. You won't be able to go anywhere anyway, so it won't fucking matter. So that is definitely, this is the future. The Leap motor, the Leap Bant, CO3. I mean, I don't know whether they're being ironic by calling it the CO3, bearing in mind all this shit is just based around the fact we're trying to reduce CO2. So let's fill the world with CO3. Or maybe it was some sort of clever bit of iron. No, Chinese don't do irony, do they? Surely fucking not. I ain't having that. So anyway, Republican Jim... Oh, it's a lawnmower. Thought it was a milk float coming up behind me. It's not. It's Anne cutting her grass again. She loves her grass. She looks after that grass. It's like fucking lords up there, her lawn. Absolutely beautiful. Didn't appreciate me going up there and bowling on it though. Did manage to get a bit of spin out the rough. I digress. So Republican Jim Jordan has exposed exactly what we were all thinking, and it took an American politician to tell us what we already knew, that we are indeed living in a communist country. And then I have just discovered and exposed that we already have the Leap Bant, the modern version of the Trabant, our own communist car, and that will be forced upon us. Weirdly, not entitled to the grant though, because it's Chinese, and I think they might get a bit of a lesser grant. They're already offering a grant of 1,500 quid off it because it was 16 grand and they've got it down to 14 and a half with what they call the Leap grant, which sounds very much like the Leap Bant. I don't know whether they've been listening to my marketing expertise or not, but nevertheless, there you have it. So, we're communists now. We live in a communist country. We're going to have to drive communist cars, which are made by communists in a communist country, to be driven by communists in a communist country. And so I'm now going to go in and watch the docudrama Chernobyl and hopefully learn about my future and how things are going to pan out. And I suggest you do the same. Have a lovely weekend. Future my arse.